Hello everyone, this is Dr. Raymond, and today I'm going to demonstrate about the mediation or moderation analysis in SPSS using the Andrew Hayes process macros. So first of all, you have to install this process macros, and I've already installed. So it's process version 4 by Andrew F. Hayes. So you have to install this process macros, and I'll make a separate video how to install this. And right now I'll show you how to make analysis. First of all, let me introduce you with the data. I've got panel data, and it's about econometrics and economic variables of cross-sectional countries. So in variable view there are countries and FDI, and there are so many other macroeconomic variables. Predictor Y is being impacted by X variable at different levels of the moderator. So for that purpose you have to go to analyze in regression, and within regression this process macros. So I have got here already a couple of variables, so I'm just going to remove them, the covariance. So here in my Y variable, which is the dependent variable, inward FDI is my dependent variable, and my X variable, that is also called independent variable, is the H expenditure, that is the health expenditure, and I have put M expenditure is a moderator, right? So this is at the W place, so not at the Z place. If you have an extra two moderators, then you can put it here, but usually you are going to study just one. So your moderator which you want to moderate is going to be here. So we go to the options, and within options I have selected generate code for visualizing interactions. So I'm going to plot the interaction terms on the graph, so that's why I have checked this. And here I don't need to do any mean centering because I've already mean centered my variables, so I have to check this one. And decimal places, well, you can have up to 2, 3, 4, it's okay. And I want my result to be heteroscedasticity consistent inferences. So if you think that your data has no problem of heteroscedasticity, you can select this none. Otherwise I want to use this one, so that if there is a problem of heteroscedasticity, then it will be resolved by this module. And in conditioning values I'm using standard -1 standard deviation, mean, and +1 standard deviation. So at 3 levels of moderation you can have this percentile as well, and that the moderator should be studied at 3 levels of different percentiles, but I feel it better with this standard deviation. So in this way the moderator will be distributed into 3 categories at -1 standard deviation, mean, and +1 standard deviation at different levels of moderator when the dependent variable when the independent variable interacts with dependent variable in the regression analysis. So continue, and then you have to say OK. Is LFDI, X is health expenditure, and W is M expenditure. And here we can see that the model summary, the R square is 0.27, 0.07 due to the interaction term, and our p-value of the model is 0.000. so that means that our model of this moderation is significant. If this p-value is not significant here or greater than 0.05, then that means that your moderation results or the interaction term which you want to get from this this analysis is not significant, so you don't need to do that. And within the model you can see that the health expenditure is positively associated with our dependent variable, that is FDI, and M expenditure is negatively associated, and both of these are significant, and the interaction term is negatively associated, and it's also significant. The p-value is 0.0175. it's less than 0.05. so here is the product terms, and in interaction we have multiplied health expenditure and M expenditure. And as far as test of unconditional interactions is concerned, so the R squared change is given here, and significance level is 0.01. it's significant. And these are the data which is given for our interaction and conditional effect of focal predictor. Our focal predictor is at various values of the moderator. Our focal predictor is health expenditure, and at various values of the M expenditure is our moderator. So this is M expenditure is at -1 standard deviation mean and +1 standard deviation, at -0.20, at 0, and at +0.22. and the effect you can see here at -1 standard deviation the effect is greater, and at mean it's almost in the middle, and at highest level it's less. And if we see at the significance level as well, the two effects at -1 standard deviation and at the mean, these two are significant, whereas at the highest level of M expenditure, so this interaction effect is not significant. And this data is given so that you can visualize the data in a graphic shape by plotting it in SPSS and making it a graph. So how to do that? For that purpose you have to double click here, and then you have to select this data from data list free. From this place you have to select up till this full stop, and copy from and syntax. You have to open a syntax, and within the syntax you have to paste it here. So we have pasted this data, and now we have to select this all pasted data and then run. Click this run button here, and now we'll find this. Yeah, this is our graph of the interaction which we have plotted here. So here we have got these at -20, 0, and +22, -1 standard deviation at the mean and at +1 standard deviation. And these you can see it's highlighted at red, green, and blue. So these are a little, you can say it's not very clearly visible. So to make it more highlighted, you can just double click on this graph, and now go to the elements and click on this interpolation line. So with this you draw the lines here, and it makes it easier for you to understand the 3 levels. So if you want to further highlight it, you can just click this one, double click this one, and then the border width you can increase to 2, the size you can increase to 10, and then apply. So you see the +1 standard deviation values are highlighted a little more prominent, and the same you can do with its mean. So for mean as well, you can just increase the size and apply, and in the same way for the data in -1 standard deviation also you can do the same. So it's bigger, and if you want to change this type, you can do that as well to make it, yeah, just like change this one, apply. So you see we change this, or you can have different colors, different types, or even if you want to change this line, you can do as well. And the width of line you can change it to 2 like this, or the style you can change whatever you want to do to make this graph more prominent, right? So now this is our graph, and let me explain this graph, that how this is this M expenditure is our moderator, whereas our dependent variable is FDI and independent variable is our health expenditure, right? So the health expenditure and FDI are positively associated, as we can see that in all 3 lines these lines are positively associated. Is with increase in health expenditure, the FDI is also increasing in all 3 lines, right? So this means that this data these variables are directly associated with each other, or positively associated with each other. Now this M expenditure, or the military expenditure, is actually negatively moderating this result.